You like that, old man? You want a piece of me?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do? You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Oh, come on. You guys are too kind. You're too kind. Happy Tuesday, moviegoers. Welcome to episode 390. Welcome to Schindler's List. You're listening to a brand new episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I'm your host, Juan, and I'm joined by Zach Orion.
What's up, guys? What's up? Are you excited? Because I'm pretty excited.
You know, this is the most exciting. This is the most excited. Excited. This is the most intense day to talk about a list that I could probably remember.
Yeah, absolutely.
We talked about a list last week. If you guys did not join us, last week we talked our top 5 2025 movies. Go back and give it a listen. It was a fun episode, full of surprises, and honestly, Zach didn't know where
Twists and turns.
Zach didn't know where I was going. So, if you guys enjoyed movies of 2025, do yourself a favor and go back. If you like to listen to other people's opinions, these two buffoons, we had a fun time going through our opinions. So, yeah, go check it out.
Dude, I'm not even gonna lie. I know we just did that episode last week. That felt like 3 years ago. I'm joking.
There's a lot that happened in between now and then. The Oscars took place a few days ago.
Oh yeah.
We are on the road to the IMDb top 250 throughout the rest of this year. So I think it's going to be a fun year. So, heads are turning to 2026. I'm going to release the entire month of April on tonight's episode. So I think we're going to have a really fun day. And it's a jam-packed episode. But before we get started, like I said, last week, you guys can go back and listen to last week's episode, wherever you listen to podcasts at, including Facebook.com. All of our links are on the social media pages. Also, do us a favor and go hit like, subscribe, and give us a star rating on Facebook. It helps our algorithm. It helps people try to, search us better in the search bar. So Facebook.com/The Cine-Men Movie Podcast. Instagram is all one word, The Cine-Men Movie Podcast. X is at Cinemen405. Or you can send us an email at cinemen921@gmail.com. And
help these two buffoons keep going. We appreciate it.
Keep on keeping on. Zach, did you check anything out this week that was kind of noteworthy? I know we're going to get into the Oscars here right after this segment, but what else did you get to check out?
So if I sound like I'm half dead today, I apologize. I'm just now getting over like a sinus infection, so it happens. We're going into from winter to spring, and my body does not like that. But I did get to check out a couple things. The Cameraman, which is a Buster Keaton movie from the 1920s. Me and my friends got to go see an advanced screening of Reminders of Him, the new Colleen Hoover adaptation, last Tuesday in the middle of the tornadoes that was all over Oklahoma City. So that was a very smart decision to do. Got to go see Hoppers, the new Pixar movie, War Machine on Netflix. We finished If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You on HBO Max, and this Dave Bautista movie called Trap House on Netflix, which is actually a pretty decent movie. I'm not gonna lie. I'd say go check out Hoppers. It's probably more lower tier, not quality wise, but just like not like emotionally driven Pixar like Coco or Up or anything. It's a fun film. I think your kids would enjoy it.
I heard it's more like a Turning Red kind of, it's not top tier Pixar, but it's Pixar.
It's Turning Red. It's Elemental from a couple years ago. It's kind of on that level.
Bleh. So I can wait for the DVD or the Blu-ray. So you would say recommend Hoppers. You went to go check it out in the Twister-like weather, so you must became a Hopper.
Reminders of Him, if you like those, dramatic cry a river type movies like Nicholas Sparks, you probably enjoy it.
Where'd you see that at?
We saw that was the advanced screening on last Tuesday during the tornado. That was at Harkins. So
nice.
But what about you? What do you check out?
I do enjoy those kinds of movies. So last time we talked, we had talked the list. So I was like, you know what? Let me just start watching something new. Let me watch something different. I checked out The Rip with Matt Damon.
What do you think?
Dude, I liked it. Liked it a lot.
Yeah.
It was good. I know I'm late, but I watched Nuremberg to get ready for this
Oh,
episode.
what do you think?
It's very dialogue driven, but I like
Yeah.
it. I probably give it a 3 out of 5. I'm surprised that Russell Crowe didn't get any kind of recognition. I thought he was fantastic. Rami Malek is Rami Malek, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ever since he played Freddie Mercury, I can't get over him being Freddie Mercury. I'm like, oh, what's Freddie Mercury doing in this movie?
Yeah. Yeah,
Um, but he
I
still did.
thought Russell Crowe was really good in that movie.
I am on a Scorsese kick right now, so I checked out Mean Streets, and After Hours is almost about to leave Netflix, so I checked out After Hours. After Hours is weird, dude. Like, you would not suspect that being a Scorsese picture at all. Checked out Schindler's List. Have you ever seen American Me?
American Me?
Yeah, with Edward James Olmos.
Uh-uh.
I watched that. This is like probably my third time watching it. It's a Latin American gangster flick. Very underrated. I don't think that gets talked about a lot. I don't think that gets mentioned up there with the casinos and
The Goodfellas.
Goodfellas, stuff like that. But that's a very underrated movie. Love that. Enjoyed that rewatch. Checked out Mean Streets again. Schindler's List for this episode. And then Zach, let's get into the Oscars. If I had to recommend anything, check out The Rip on Netflix, and also Nuremberg is on Netflix, and Schindler's List is on Peacock, which is
Yep.
what we're going to get into today. But Zach, before we get into it, let's talk Oscar talk. It just happened a little less than 48 hours ago.
Yep.
I'm going to go off by saying this was a pretty good show. I didn't have any complaints. The picks,
Did you watch the whole 3.5 hours?
Yeah, the awards were safe, if that makes sense. There were no like out of the left. I didn't see that coming picks.
Yeah. I mean, with the exception of Best Actress, I think everything. I shouldn't say it wasn't surprised, but I really didn't know who was going to win, if that makes sense. Other than the Best Actress category, I was kind of open to anything that was going to happen. So let's go through the list. We're not going to cover like the short films and the documentaries and stuff the documentaries and stuff like that. Best visual effects, no surprise, went to Avatar: Fire and Ash. Frankenstein, like on a 3-wheel charm, got best makeup hairstyling, best costume design, and best production design, which I thought was cool. Cinematography went to Sinners, which is a milestone because it was the first female cinematographer to win an Oscar, which is cool. Best sound went to F1. The new category, best casting, I was kind of mixed on this one. It went to One Battle After Another. I kind of think it should have went to Sinners. What do you think about that one?
First time award, I think it was going to go to probably whichever one best picture, probably.
That makes sense.
I that way it can just be etched in stone, but who knows?
That's true.
Yeah.
Best music or score went to Sinners. Best music or original song went to K-pop Demon Hunters. Golden. Best animated film was K-pop Demon Hunters. Did you ever see that?
I did. My 4-year-old absolutely loves that movie.
Did you like it?
It was all right.
Okay. Did you get like what the hype of it is or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
I'm telling you, last week was for real. Like animated movies, I just don't get it anymore.
Yeah. Best international feature films went to Sentimental Values. So that pretty much kicked it out of the best picture category or best picture race. Best original screenplay went to Ryan Coogler for Sinners. Best adapted screenplay went to One Battle After Another, Paul Thomas Anderson. And so here are the big awards. Best actor in a supporting role, Sean Penn for One Battle After Another. I liked the Culkin joke of Sean Penn is not here or doesn't want to be here. So I'll explore on his behalf. Best actress or in a supporting role went to Amy Madigan for Weapons. I think that to me, that kind of set the night. That kind of set the tone for what the night was going to be. It really was kind of anyone's game. Uh, Best actress in a leading role, Jessie Buckley, which was no surprise. But the big, let's just go ahead and clap everyone. Everyone was excited. Best actor in a leading role, Michael B. Jordan for Sinners. I'll just go ahead and take credit because he was my favorite actor of last year. So I'll just go ahead and take that credit for me. Best director went to Paul Thomas Anderson, and then Best Picture was One Battle After Another, which joins the Best Picture. Which I'm sure, did you already put it in your in your Oscar Best Picture section yet?
It's not in that section. I'm still over here looking for it. It's crammed up here with some of the others.
But yeah, I kind of agree with you. I thought it was a really good show. Conan O'Brien did a very good job hosting. I didn't think his jokes hit as well as they did like last year. I thought the opening sketch of him as the witch from Weapons and the kids chasing him throughout the different films was hysterical. But yeah, man, I'm a big Michael B. Jordan fan, and the fact that he's won his Oscar before he turned 40 is awesome. And I think that was one of the few times in Oscar history where everyone was like legitimately proud of that win. Like everyone was like, yeah, that's correct. And he enjoyed some In-N-Out Burger after his Oscar win. So what can you say about that?
So it's about to go
There you
where it belongs. I was talking to somebody about this, Zach. Do you think, Ryan Coogler will probably get his one day, but I was
Yeah.
talking to a dear close friend of mine, and do you think movies that are on streaming or movies that do you think that takes accountability of like what the Oscars when they decide to pick what wins?
Like,
Like,
what do
oh,
you mean? Like, if it has a theatrical release or a
oh,
streaming release?
it has a true theatrical release. Like we're talking 3 months, 4 months. It's in theaters. It's an old school, release, and it doesn't do the 10 days and then streaming. Like, do you think that comes into play?
I think it used to, but not anymore. When Coda won Best Picture a couple years ago, I think that got thrown out the window. But I mean, I know it had like it had like a very, very limited release. I don't think we got it in theaters, but I just watched it on Paramount, not Paramount, Apple TV. So
Yeah, that was a strange year. I don't. To me, that year was technically didn't happen because Coda is not on physical media. So to me, Coda did not win Best Picture.
well, the year that I don't believe it truly technically exists was Nora from last year. I was like, does anyone remember that movie?
I
A year later. I
I
know
do.
you remember it, but
We talked about it. It was a full fun length episode.
we did. It was, I think it was that Tuesday after that Oscars we talked about it. But I mean,
Yeah.
like, do you have that on physical media? Oh
Honora?
yeah,
Yeah.
you do. You got the Criterion, don't you?
Oh yeah, I do.
There you go.
You
But
know what? So it is interesting. Best Picture, I think, was going to go down to Sinners, One Battle, or Hamnet. That's it.
yeah.
Paul Thomas Anderson finally. I read an interesting stat that the legendary directors that won their first Oscar all had Leo in their movie. James Cameron, Martin Scorsese, and now Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah. What does that tell you?
Yeah. And I know people give him flack, but how fun was watching Leo's face the entire show? Every time they
It
put
was
him up,
fun.
every time they put him up on the screen, you're like, that guy is just. I bet he's cool to hang out with.
Well, and the fact that Conan basically called him out and said, like, this guy's face is basically a meme everywhere you turn, and let's make a new meme. It's like, yeah.
I wanted to get your thoughts. I don't want to get too political. I don't want to get too. I thought the show was, an epic. I personally would have probably liked Jimmy Kimmel hosting, and I thought it was pretty funny when he came back up. He was like, "Yeah, Conan stepped outside and burst into flames." Like
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel showing up was like really, really funny. What do you think of Jimmy Kimmel?
I mean, I get why he didn't host. I mean, I've always liked Conan O'Brien, even when he did the late night show stuff, and I think his comedy, I think his way of doing comedy really works in an Oscar setting.
He was in One Leg. If I had legs, I'd kick you.
Yeah, yeah,
He was. He was in that movie.
he was in that movie, but
Yeah, I want to see
but-
one more time before he officially retires or passes. I want to see Billy Crystal host the Oscars one more time.
I think he'll do it one more time. Yeah, Did you like
The,
the? I thought that
I
was
did-
one of the better in memoriam sections that they've done in a while.
yeah, I did like the tribute to Rob Ryan, how he got his own little square, his own light. All the cast came up and shed some light on him. But um, dude, let's talk about Schindler's List. That's why we're here. It's been like 7 years in the making. It's a movie that we have yet to just talk about. It's IMDb's list. Let's get into it. Do you have anything else you want to add to the Oscars before we get out of here?
No, I just thought it was out of I've seen a lot of the Oscars. I thought it was one of the better ones that they've had in a while.
So today we're checking out Schindler's List. It is officially, and it's been on Peacock, so go check it out. IMDb has this at a 9 point out of 10, 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, 95% on the Metascore, a 4.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. With $22 million budget, it grossed a little over $323 million at the box office with a December 15th, 1993 release date. In German occupied Poland during World War II, industrialist Mr. Schindler gradually becomes concerned for his Jewish workforce after witnessing their persecution by the Nazis. Directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Liam Neeson, Ralph Fiennes, Ben Kingsley, Caroline Goodall, um, Elizabeth Davids. You can also check this movie out, like I said earlier, on Peacock. It is number 7 out of 250 on IMDb's top 250. This movie was also nominated for 12 Oscars, winning 7, the biggest being Best Picture. Zach, do you remember the first time you watched Schindler's List? And honestly, in a few short words, what was it like revisiting it for this episode?
Yeah, so being the Spielberg aficionado on the show, I actually did not see. I had seen sections of the movie, here and there, but I did not actually see this movie in its entirety until probably 2016, 2017. So about 10 years ago almost. Um, it's yeah, I mean, there's a lot to say about this movie, but the same feelings I had watching it the first time, it came up again on this viewing. And honestly, I think probably because I'm just a little older now, I respect the movie a lot more than I did the first time I watched it, if that makes sense.
That's very interesting, though. Saying almost like 10 years ago you didn't have that much respect for this movie.
No, that came out completely wrong. I've always had respect for them. Like I understand, like it's a lot of people say this or Saving Private Ryan is his masterpiece. I've always respected this movie, but it's such a look,
Oh
I got
yeah,
this. I got the same one too. Look at that. Um, I've always respected this movie, but it's not something you can put on like on a Friday night. If that makes sense.
that is where this episode is going to be fishy to kind of talk about and to kind of grade. So that's where this conversation is going to start. And
Yeah.
I wanted to start off with that. Even with how good this movie is, it's a dang near perfect movie,
Yeah.
but in the subject matter make it difficult for rewatchability and therefore kind of take the grade down a little bit.
Oh, I don't think that. I don't think that at all. I think
Because
I've
like you
always.
said, this is not going to be a movie that I pick and I'm like, oh, let me watch Schindler's List. I just can't wait to get that imprinted into my mind again. Like
Yeah.
this is a movie where you watch it. It's emotional, it's impactful, it's it's one of a kind. Um, but that being said, I'm always going to need a palate cleanser afterwards, and then not want to touch it for a few years.
No, and that's completely understandable. This is not a movie that. I mean, I think when we ranked our Spielberg movies a couple years ago, recently, it was like an honorable mention because it's 3.5 hours. The topic is the Holocaust. There is a lot of, and I think I picked this up on this rewatch. There are so many, what I mean by great moments in the film, I mean, they're so emotionally driven that you forget. it's almost like when you see this, just it's like, oh yeah, that actually happened in the world. Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes perfect sense, but then it also gives you that I developed an anger emotion, like, because of the subject matter. And then I don't want to get too political here, but some of the
Yeah.
stuff is going on in the movie. I'm kind of like, is history trying to repeat itself?
Right.
And it kind of made me like, therefore, a little bit more angry and have a certain kind of feeling. Like I said, we're not going to get political. I'm not going to dish out hate, but
No.
I was kind of like, you know, it brought up more emotion of today's present time to where I couldn't almost sit and enjoy the rest of the movie. I got through it. I finished the movie. I went back and rewatched certain scenes. So
Yeah.
I probably watched this movie 3 times this past week. One it's
Mm.
in entirety, and then 2 different times going back and looking at different certain parts of the film. Doing that with how good of a character Liam Neeson played as Mr. Schindler, he was almost too perfect, if that makes sense. Like, he was a nice guy, but
Hmm.
I almost feel like he, in certain parts, was also mean to certain members of the Jewish community.
Oh, you see, I think I think the
He regretted it at the end, but you could tell he was not as nice as he pushed off to be.
well, and see, that's the thing I think that is so beautiful about the movie is because when he's initially before even the liquidation of the ghetto scene happens, he's gathering all of these Jewish people, and you get Ben Kingsley's character, who's basically the accountant for his business, and the words that I'm about to say is nowhere in the movie, but I think Ben Kingsley's performance is so powerful that you don't need to say these words. Of when you first meet Oscar, he's a businessman, he's a womanizer, he's a partier, he wants to be with the Nazi crowd. When he's saying like gather all these people, and he's basically saying, oh yeah, gather these people. I'm saving your people, but Ben Kingsley is like basically looking at him saying, you're not saving him because you care about him. You're
Yeah,
saving him because you need him for your business, essentially.
yeah. And it's also the way he treated the female aspect of the Jewish community by he was like, "I'll save you. I'm gonna do stuff to you too, but I'm gonna save." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
like how Spielberg put that focus in on his character because it's like it's almost like, of course, they would rather go work for him because they know they might live at the end of the day, but
Yeah.
don't count your chickens before they hatch. He's not the nicest guy either.
Well, he's not the nicest guy, and even one of the first instances of murder that we see is the old guy that he's literally trying to do his best, and he says, "I work for Officer Schindler," and the officers bring him over and say, "Here, let me show you something," and they shoot him smack dab in the head, and I think that
Was that the one armed guy?
yeah, I think, and something that cracks me up, and it really shouldn't, but it says in the MPPA rating, it says language, some sexuality, and this adjective does not make any sense to me, but I mean, I understand why they put it in there. And actuality violence. Why wouldn't they just say Holocaust violence? Because that's essentially what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like the adjective doesn't really make sense.
I also took so one of the most appreciation moments I have about this movie is going back and nitpicking. Like I said, I watched this movie in full, and then I went back and watched certain scenes. Um, this movie does not work, and I haven't even have written in my notes. This movie does not work if the extras are lazy.
Oh no.
The
You know
ex-
what's so?
the
Go ahead.
extras in this sorry, the extras in this movie, facial expressions, screams, yells,
Mm-hmm.
motions of running, falling into the mud, truffling around with their clothes being nude, getting the ice cold water drawn on them. This movie does not work if the extras don't work hard.
Yeah, that's so true. And like, and um and I was gonna bring that up because you essentially have three main characters, which is Liam Neeson, Ben Kingsley, and Ralph Fiennes. But like, how did I word that? Go
And
ahead.
Ralph,
If
my,
you
my
if you have something to say, go ahead.
while you're doing that, Ralph Fiennes, believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but he doesn't even get introduced in the movie until like after 45 minutes.
Yeah. I think it's right before the liquidation of the ghetto scene is that he's introduced. I just have, and I don't mean this to sound like insensitive, Jewish B characters. We don't really get to know them on a personal level. We just know that there's the mom with the daughter, there's the married couple, there's the older gentleman. You know what I mean? It's just like we know who they are, and actually, the way I think it's the editing in the film, which I think is brilliant, which it won an Oscar for it. We were able to follow those B characters without really knowing who they are, if that makes sense.
I can't believe Ralph Fiennes didn't win for this character because he gets under your skin so much that the way you look at Ralph Fiennes after this movie, you're like, is that really him? You know what I mean? He played it to the T. He was so perfect in this movie. But I have to
What do you,
disagree. I think you do get a little bit. Well, you said you get emotionally involved with the Jewish community, and I think I get more involved with them. On so much on a different level. Before I make it sound different, I get introduced to them on a different level without them even saying anything. There's a lot of scenes where you get them just running around like the little boy looking for a hiding spot.
Mhm.
I have this in my notes. The boy who's cleaning the bathtub, they get very so little camera time and hardly any dialogue, but it's the eyes. It's all in the
Yeah.
eyes, Chico. It's all in the eyes. It's in the eyes, and when you get to see, so anytime I can hit Scarface, I'm going to hit Scarface. But anyway, like I think it's that. I think it's the eyes, the emotions. That again, if they're lazy, it's not going to work. We don't see
Yeah.
these we don't see these actors probably ever again in our lifetime watching a movie, maybe one or two here and there, but like they're just spot on. And
Yeah.
whether that's Spielberg's directing, whether that's the cast, the crew, any supervisors over this crew, because again, Spielberg going back and forth between this and Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Um, I had a joke here too. It's like there's different meaning to the lines "Chuda" in the two movies.
Maybe not the most appropriate joke to do on this episode, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
But again, Ralph Fiennes, and you know what? I wanted to talk about him too, but Ben Kingsley in this movie, where is his recognition? Because I think this is one of the few movies I've probably seen where I feel like it should have swept most of the big awards that year. I know you were probably looking up who
Yeah.
won Best Actor, but like,
Yeah. So best picture, it won best picture. Spielberg won best director. Tom Hanks won for Philadelphia that year, and
oh,
and then Tommy Lee Jones won for The Fugitive for the supporting actor.
was Ralph Fiennes was for supporting actor, right?
Yeah,
Okay, that I could have probably I could have
I could probably let that go.
No. I was going to be the opposite. Philadelphia, I can let slide over Liam Neeson, but I think looking back, Ralph Fiennes certainly deserved over Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah,
You-
yeah.
you- you-
Okay, yeah.
the Fugitive. You're like, do you even remember that movie?
Dude, I don't think I've actually seen The Fugitive. I'm gonna be honest.
And then with Schindler's List, you're like, again, this movie also doesn't work if Ralph Fiennes is not that guy. He is.
Yeah, I mean,
He's nasty. He makes you want to just go through the screen and Bart Simpson choke him. Like Ralph Fiennes did his job and did it near perfect.
I think the second scene that you actually see him, he's sniping people off the balcony of his his villa or whatever it is
Well,
on top of the hill.
not to mention also what he does to the Jewish female community.
Yeah, I mean, you have, is that the girl that we see in the bed when he's doing when he's sniping people? Is that the same girl? No, that was the maid.
That was
Helen
the
the
maid.
maid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, there's the scene where he has the guy who's making the door shin, hinges. He's making the door
Oh
hinges,
yeah.
and he just can't get it to go off. There's the lady that the foreman of the construction, and he's like, right here, do it right now. And I'm like, so
Mm.
again, this movie does not work if he's not ruthless. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
So that's why I have it set in my notes like this is a dang near perfect movie, but because
Yeah.
of the subject matter, I'm like, I don't think I could watch this every. Oh, I'm in the mood for some some violence. Let me watch,
Yeah.
Schindler's List. Wrong kind of violence. I might put like Beverly Hills Cop in if I want like some violence.
Comedic violence, yeah. But I mean, let's talk about I would argue probably the most horrific scene in the movie. We both share the Steelbook 4K, the liquidation of the ghetto and the little girl in the red dress, which that is actually something that truly happened. Oscar Schindler saw this liquidation and he followed this little girl that was wearing a red coat. And I think that's one of the great questions that Spielberg brings up. And did you watch that interview I sent you?
Not yet. I did not.
Basically, he was just saying like, the interview asked her like, what's the significance of the girl in the red coat? It's basically, with all this hatred, this graphic violence, how did none of these SS officers just take the time to recognize this little girl when there's like death going all around her, you know? And I think that this movie also won for cinematography. I think it's a ingenious idea to put the viewer in that, like, I'm just going to drop you in this horrific situation, and I want you to feel the chaos and the unsafeness of you could be rounded up, you could be killed, you could be, never see your family again, and that's essentially what that was.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of scenes that's like, holding back a tear, letting it hit you in the feels, and the little girl in the red jacket is certainly one of them. But that's probably yeah, I'll agree. That's the most unsettling scene is just the fire pit scene in general.
Oh, yeah.
And Ralph Fiennes again playing it to a teat is like as if I don't have anything else to do.
Yeah,
If
he
I'm too,
literally he literally plays it like someone that's like being put out, or like, okay, you're like interfering on my time, and Oscar Schindler's just like literally horrified, and he sees the corpse of the little girl just go by him, and I think really that the moment that really changes him is when he sees the liquidation. It says like, okay, if I can get as many people working for my factory as I can save as many people as I can.
what did you think of the scene where the woman comes in and she's like, "I heard you were saving people," and he almost tells her to get out before he has her arrested. What did you think of that scene?
I think as looking at a person looking into the situation, I think it was very much I have to keep this persona of I'm a businessman, I'm just here for money, but I can't let this woman wreck this whole operation that I'm trying to do.
And how difficult of position that's in a difficult position if he is because say he says something that she doesn't like, she could go and kind of ride on the situation. Also, it's
Yeah,
gonna, who's gonna believe her over him.
yeah,
Uh, but you can also see him trying to hold back a tear and be like, you're right. But he does at the end of the day, whenever she leaves, he does seek out the two people she was talking about.
yeah. And that's
So
something that like I think Spielberg tried to make this as most accurate as he possibly could, but like situations like that where like he finds the two older people, I think it was her parents or something like that, to get them to work in the factory, and then the door hinge guy where they take him outside and the gun wouldn't or shoot correctly. I really want to believe that those are actual testimonial things, or is that just, is it just
for the movie,
drama drama for the movie?
yeah. I'm kind of a little flabbergasted too that Ben Kingsley didn't get nominated. Um,
No,
yeah,
nothing.
because I think he was really superb in this movie. I had just watched Gandhi 2 for the first time last calendar year, 2025, and I'm like, man, Ben Kingsley can go. So
Is that a worthy 3 hours of my time? 3 hours and 11 minutes for Gandhi.
I don't know if Gandhi is in the same glance of a subject matter as Schindler's List, but there's definitely
Dan-
more. Go ahead.
Daniel Day Lewis isn't that Daniel Day Lewis is in that? I didn't know that.
Gandhi?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. Anyway, that's a Gandhi podcast later this year. So, um, like, what else did you think? We talked about the thematic, the thematic tones that Ralph finds as the character. I thought the ending scene, well, the whole ending scene between where Oscar Schindler basically breaks down and confesses that I could have saved one more. Like I could have sold this car, I could have sold this like little gold pin that would have gave me another person to save.
Oh,
And then all
that's a heartbreak.
that dude, that's what should have won Liam Neeson the Oscar, honestly, because he is. We always think of him as Taken dude, but he can he can act. Honestly, I think this movie proves that.
Is that the first and only time he's ever been nominated?
I think so.
And he's never won.
Mm-mm.
I was sitting there thinking when I was watching that scene too, I'm like, you know, to live with that guilt. I mean, don't get me wrong, he saved a lot of people and a lot of generations, but for him to be like, I could have done more. I could have sold and gotten more money. I could have, you know, that right there is like the biggest flex that not just Liam Neeson, but like the real life person could have had. Like
Yeah.
you look at what's going on into to today's society, and it's like, you know, it's almost the same thing, but like, who can I help with a visa today, or who can I help keep them in the United States today, or who can I help, like, and it's
Yeah.
like going through and doing the same thing, and it's like he lived with that guilt for the rest of his life. And then I like the ending
Yeah.
where it showed everybody put like a rock on his monument grave.
Yeah, and that's the next part I want to talk about of you have the real life survivors and their actor counterpart putting these rocks on Oscar Schindler's monumental tomb. And I did read that it's interesting that this is the only German that is actually German Nazi that's actually buried in a Jewish cemetery, which I thought that was very powerful.
Yeah. This movie, man, just hits on every level. What did you think of doing the movie in black and white and the only color is at the beginning of the movie and then the girl in the red jacket?
Oh, and see, I don't want to give away the that interview, but Universal wanted Spielberg to do this in color, and they tried to make a deal with him, saying like, "Look, you can release this theatrically in black and white, but we're gonna do like a color VHS." And he said no. And his reasoning behind it was the only pictures that we know, the only pictures are the still photographs or the footage that was filmed. It's all black and white. There's no color Holocaust pictures. And I think that's a perfect reason to set this movie in black and white. Because like that's what we know as a society as black and white Holocaust pictures of concentration camps, of the survivors, of the dead bodies. It just seems appropriate.
Yeah. That's
So
that's powerful stuff. And looking back now, like comparing this movie to today's movies that were nominated for Best Picture, I feel like they did it again. Like people are gonna remember something like a Sinners more than one battle. And just like in
yeah,
not just like in 1994, they got it right. People today remember Schindler's List over anything else that came out that year.
yeah.
And it's
Do you
like,
think it's Oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
Do you think it's appropriate to because schools today have such a big deal of showing not showing inoffensive things to students and X, Y, and Z and all that. Do you think it's appropriate to show a movie like this in history class, even though it's rated R?
Oh boy, you're gonna bring out the bad in me today.
So,
That's a very hot take, and that's a very big like. Should people be sustained to this kind of material in a public school setting?
mhm.
I saw this in public school, and I would say yes. But you can also, I didn't grow up, the best either. What age would you probably start showing this to somebody in? I would probably start showing this in 6th grade. I watched this for the
Yeah.
first. I watched this for the first time in 7th grade. It took 2.5 class sessions to watch it, but like
Yeah.
I think you have to, and I think maybe if you don't show the film Schindler's List, then you have to go out as a teacher and you have to find the absolute closest documentary, real life footage that you possibly can. We cannot see this stuff cannot be gone unseen or untaught.
Yeah.
Especially
Well, you just
down the
you
road.
just got done watching. Go ahead. You just got done watching Nuremberg. I mean, I think that's a very good movie, but that doesn't hold a candle to the
No, no.
Holocaust, dealing with the Holocaust topic as this does.
And I was almost going to bring this up again. Do you think something like this could get made today, as graphic as it is? I mean, we got people trying to cancel Scary Movie 7 or Scary Movie 6 because of how offensive the Red Band trailer was.
I think there's something very different, and this goes into a whole nother conversation. But I think this showing something that actually depicting something that was real, that truly happened, is different than, hey, let's just make fun of something. I feel like that's a very like simpleton statement. We know that as a society, but I think there'd be people in today's world that would be offended by the violence in this, even though it's as realistic as it probably was.
Okay, let me put you under the spotlight now. What do you say to the people that say the Holocaust never happened? Because whether you're a flat earther or not, there's people out there that believe that this didn't happen.
Well, and I'm gonna Uno reverse it to you because that was gonna be the one of questions I ask you. Is just like how do you watch something like this, or Hotel Rwanda, or whatever other movie that yeah. Um, how do you watch something like Schindler's List and say like, oh yeah, that's just all BS. That didn't happen. I can't.
There's
Something in my
people on
brain
the moon
does not.
landing.
Oh, yeah. They think Kubrick filmed it on a soundstage.
Yeah, I'm
But like we have the historical sites where this happened. We know where this happened. There are literally, you go to these sites and you can actually see the human dust particles that are still in those ovens. Like how do you just say, "Oh yeah, that didn't happen?" That was fabricated by the US government.
yeah. What's the other movie A24 did it? Is it The Sound of Interest?
The Zone of Interest, yeah.
Yeah,
I actually haven't seen that.
yeah. I've seen it once, and that movie it's not as graphic as Schindler's List, but it is very memorable. So
What do you think about the when I think it's actually right after that scene where Liam Neeson kind of pushes the woman away. He goes outside and he thinks it's snowing, but it's actually human remain or human incineration falling. It's like it shows like people in the park, people walking down the street, and it just looks up and it's just like it looks like it's literally snowing, but it's like human remains.
unsettling, like
Yeah.
yeah, unsettling, and the practical effects of this movie is top notch even for 1993. I would almost say Ralph Fiennes is so important to this movie as an actor because every single scene he's in is unforgettable.
Oh yeah.
And
And watching it when you see ultimately what happens to that character, I'm just like, that's not even. I feel like that's not even. That's just a way, coward's death way out. I think he deserved a lot more than what he got.
Yeah. Explain to the listeners, if you haven't seen this movie or if been hiding under a rock, it's on Peacock.
Yeah, I think I actually watched this for the first time on Netflix when it was on there years back.
Hmm.
Dude, you're gonna ask the question. I'm just gonna go ahead and answer it. I think this is required viewing. Like, you said this is number 7 on the IMDb list.
Number 7. I think it should be higher.
I think it should be in the top 5, honestly.
Yeah.
So, and another scene I thought is very powerful. Well, 2 more things actually. There's 3 now that I'm thinking about it. The scene where they once they start getting the Jewish people on the trains and they start shuffling through their belongings, like their suitcases, their clothes, the shoes, the jewelry. Could you imagine, like, you just like, well, I know you can't because you can't depart with your Blu-rays; they have to go with you. Um, but could you imagine just leaving all your stuff behind and like everything gets divided up, and then there's the guy that's going through the jewelry, and someone puts gold teeth on the table, like, this is
Dude,
just how far they're willing to go.
if somebody's going through and ransacking my Blu-rays and they throw The Godfather down and step on it, I'm just like, take me now. Just do away with me. I don't want to continue.
Right. And then I thought one of the most, the liquidation of the ghetto is probably number 1, but I put number 2 is is leading the woman into the showers and not knowing if it was actually going to be a shower or like a gas chamber.
Oh yeah.
Spielberg said that was one of the few times, like, it was such a realistic feeling that all those women are, I think he said they were Israeli and actresses, and they did that like several times, and it just felt like everyone was there to memorialize
but
all the people that were killed.
but didn't they do that for real though? They would send them in gas chambers like that though, right?
Yeah, that's real. Like,
I think that's what was on
that they were yeah, people thought people literally thought they were going to take a shower, but then they were like gassed like
Yeah.
5 minutes later.
Yeah. That's a tough scene. Or the scene where
And something else.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was even going to say like the scene where they have the adults do the physical, and then why they have them distracted doing that, they're taking off their kids.
Yeah.
See, and
watching
this movie 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 15, I'm like, dude, insane. But watching it now, almost having kids have kind of ruined certain scenes for me.
Yeah.
Because I've kind of just, flashback, or I am sometimes I imagine my kids in those scenarios if like something like that were to continue to happen. And I'm like, I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
like the kid looking for a place to hide. And
he has to be he drops himself into the toilet. The porta potty, yeah.
Couldn't do it.
And he literally everywhere he goes, there's like kids hiding under the floorboards, under the mattresses, inside the walls.
It took me to a Forrest Gump moment. Can't sit here.
Yeah. Which we'll be talking about here in a couple of weeks, just to give you a preview. Dude, something else we got to talk about. John Williams' score is so, like, the score in this is on par with, like, when I explain how I'm going to explain that, you'll understand. Schindler's List is so tied to John Williams' score, like Titanic is to James Horner's score. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, when you hear the piano, you automatically know that this is Schindler's List.
And you could listen to the score and it almost kind of like tears you up compared to like when you're watching Titanic or listening to the Titanic score. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, shout out to Steven Spielberg, who, he basically created the Shoah Foundation, which basically gave Jewish Holocaust survivors a chance to tell their story, speak their voice of what they saw, what happened to them, and there's something that's very eerily um, just eerily powerful about that.
So going back and just thinking of like whether it's the score or some of these scenes, we've touched on Liam Neeson, Ralph Fiennes, Ben Kingsley. Um, I think it's safe to say like this movie, we both agree this movie should be in the top 5 of IMDb's top 250. Um, were you surprised that this movie was nominated for 12 and took home 7? Do you think it would have won a little bit more?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, because that was during a time where if something like if something like that hits today, I think it would sweep. Especially back then, I think it could have won everything it was nominated against. The only things it didn't win was Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, Best Makeup, Sound, and Costume Design.
Ralph Fiennes should have got it that year. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
I know this is kind of hard to talk about, but like favorite scenes for this movie, I'll go first. I'm gonna have to say this might be a kind of a cop out, but I don't want to name any specific scenes because it is so horrid. But anything Ralph Fiennes was in, I feel like was a tremendous, didn't go waste for scene.
Yeah.
And I know, like I said, I know that's kind of a cop out, but I didn't want to sit here and name. I enjoyed the way he looked when he was burning people. You know, just Ralph Fiennes as
Yeah.
an actor is just important to every scene he's in. And then at the end, when Schindler's like, "I could have saved more," that was
Yeah.
heartbreaking.
Yeah. That scene, the actual epilogue where they're showing the victims and their actor counterparts visiting the grave, and then the liquidation scene is definitely, I think, and that's something I was going to bring up. The liquidation scene is definitely up there because I think that truly defines what this movie means. But to me, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think this is Spielberg's masterpiece because there are so many standout moments in this that you could say, "Oh yeah, that's why it won Best Picture." Saving Private Ryan, while we think is a very good film, after the Omaha Beach scene, it doesn't lag. It doesn't get any worse, but it's just, that's your big climax sequence, and the rest of it is this them trying to find Matt Damon.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would agree. Schindler's List is definitely his masterpiece, his his end all be all. But that is where we're gonna get into star rating. Um, I'm gonna go with a 4.5. I think this is a near perfect movie. I think the top 3, the big 3 in this movie with Ben Kingsley, Liam Neeson, and Ralph Fiennes makes this movie an epic. Spielberg behind the steering wheel completely drives us into history as far as being one of the greatest films of all time. A true greatest films of all time, not like that movie we talked about a few weeks ago in Citizen Kane. But I truly believe Spielberg has just not outdone himself because he is an extraordinary director. He can do stuff with his pinky that I can't do with my entire mind and body. But he did it here, and I think the only reason I'm not giving this I'm not giving it a 5 is because of the subject matter, how strong and powerful and how you know raw the material is that I kind of was as if I'm not already a depressed human being. This movie kind of depressed me a little bit more after, and like I said, I had to have a palate cleanser. It kind of ruined my day for the rest of the day, and I think that's the only reason I'm not giving this a perfect 5 out of 5 because I don't want to probably revisit this for a few more years. But it is a I don't want to curse anymore, but it is a dang near perfect movie.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that's the only reason I'm not giving it a 5. Like, it's perfect everywhere else, but the subject matter just stings.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. I'm gonna go all the way. I'm gonna give it a masterpiece 5. Performances, subject matter, cinematography, the score. It's not. I totally agree with you. It's not something that I want to. Hey, it's Friday night. Let's watch Schindler's List. It's not rewatchable in that sense. But I think every. This is my second rewatch in its entirety in 10 years. I think every 10 years this deserves a viewing, which is kind of anti what we say on the show about rewatchability. But I think it's very, um, like I said, I think it's required viewing for anybody, honestly. But I do have a rant. We haven't had a rant of the day in a while. You have the same still book as me, right?
It's not a still book.
Yeah. Do you have the special features on here?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Because I checked it. Like, I was going to watch
So,
the 25th
so like
anniversary thing.
like I said, mine is not a still book.
Oh. How
Mine
many discs come as yours?
it comes with a 4K, a Blu-ray, and then a complete bonus Blu-ray disc. It comes with 3 discs.
Oh, that's shitty. Because I
Why?
have the Steelbook version from Target. I don't have the special features on here. I just have the 4K movie and the Blu-ray movie, but no special features.
Your 4K doesn't have special features?
No, it has no the special features that you see on here, like the 25th anniversary of Schindler's List and all that.
Uh-huh.
It's not on here
Interesting. Yeah,
because I was going to
this
watch it before I watched this before we did this.
this has a disc that's strictly bonus features, and it's got Schindler's List 25 years later, voices from the list, a full-length documentary with testimonies from the Holocaust, um, a story about the Shaw Foundation with Steven Spielberg, and more.
I'm mad. I'm pissed off because I want to see that.
Um,
So, but but
Interesting.
next week is Vintage Stocks' buy one get one free. So maybe they'll have that particular 4K.
There you go. You know what also next week is?
Godfather Part 3.
The Godfather Part 3, The Death of Michael Corleone, the Coda edition. Don't forget, Zach, we're doing the Coda edition.
Sir, I've already watched the Coda edition. I watched it last week, so I'm prepared.
Oh.
You can stream it on Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus it up. I said I was going to go through the April schedule as well before we get out of here, so let's do that. After that, we end March with Raging Bull, Martin Scorsese movie. So, man, 3 big time directors back to back to back. What about that, huh?
Oh, look at that.
And then we set off the week of April. Week 1 of April, we're talking La La Land. It is our very first musical. Ryan Gosling, Emma Stone. That should be a fun one. Week 2 of April, we're talking Forrest Gump. I can't believe we're talking Forrest Gump for the first time. I got to edit that. Look, there's Emma Stone and
there's a La La picture in the poster. It's a crossover event that no one knew was happening.
I got to edit that out. I was on some heavy meds last week, Zach. They took out two teeth on me last week.
Oh.
So week 2 is Forrest Gump. Week 3, American History X. Maybe another event that's a little unsettling to talk about. What do you think? Have you seen this ever?
I've only seen it once in its entirety, and it's not to say it's a bad movie. I've just never had the desire to rewatch it again.
So that's going to be another tough topic of conversation. So that's week 3 of April, American History X. All these movies are on IMDb's top 252. So we dedicated an entire month, which we're dedicating the entire year. So all these movies are on IMDb's top 250. And then we end April week 4 with Kill Bill Volume 1. What do you think of that?
Yeah, we got to get some Tarantino in.
So in 1 month, we're talking Tarantino, Steven Spielberg, Francis Ford Coppola, Martin Scorsese. It should be fun. What do you think about the month of April, Zach?
As we said, April is packed. We got a lot of diverse conversations.
No. Other than that, man, anything else you want to add to the list of Schindler?
No, go check it out. I mean, like we said, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I think it's very deserving of your time. And
Before we
don't
get
put your phone in the other room and actually pay attention to the movie.
before we get out of here, can you think, this is something you can either answer now or next week? Can you think of another movie that is so unsettling to watch when it comes to actual historic times?
Wait till next week, and I'll give you an answer.
We'll talk
I
about
gotta
it
think
next.
about that.
I got a few movies off the top of my head, but we'll talk about it next week as just a little conversation piece. But next week, don't forget The Godfather Part 3, The Death of Michael Corleone, the Coda Edition, is what the subject matter is next week. We've talked Godfather 1 and 2. We're putting the trilogy to rest next week on another new episode, a brand new episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.